KeithAndrewNetwork. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and this is episode 354. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Dominque Kang, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even though if having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up and just prove to people you can still amount to something. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And so hashtag break the labels. And you can prove to them you can break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 45 minutes of your time. Usually it goes over longer over that, but I'm trying to keep my interviews under like a half hour. So let's see how it goes, and how you have as much time as you like, half hour, 45 minutes, give or take. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
I was born in Korea, and I came to States as freshman in high school, and here I am now. With you talking.
What about, so I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then we're going to take a commercial break, and you can ask me anything you want, your top 5, top 10, whatever you want to call it. So the first question is, when you came over to the States, what was the transition hard, and do you miss being in Korea?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a period of culture shock, to mildly put it, due to the fact that I didn't speak English at all. Well, I spoke some, but not efficient enough to where I can communicate. So I was always left out because I couldn't communicate, and I didn't have friends because of that in high school. And I was always felt like exclusive, even back then. People talk about barriers, and of course, my barrier being one of them is my physicality. And I don't even look at that as a challenge, but people see me as having challenge, and it's not the way it should be, because we all have our own challenges, whether, like for instance, when I go to auditions, I'm told that, oh, you need to get rid of your diction, oh, you're short, oh, you're, whatever that may be, So, yeah, we all have our barriers to deal with, and some of us has more fear. But we just have to keep pounding and pounding and pounding until someone finally sees for who we are, and says, oh yeah, you're sane just like us, And our uniqueness, the important message that I want to get across, especially in Hollywood, is that our uniqueness is what makes us who we are. And I get that it's business at the end of the day, and they have their own barriers to deal with, but how we are, they shouldn't affect their business decision. And until they realize that we're just the same, we just have to keep on pounding and pounding and pounding, And to get that message across, we all have to do our own thing as well, whether, networking. I'm on, social media all the time, like people probably annoyed by me. And one time that I wasn't on Twitter, you would leave me a message saying, hey, would you like to do? I don't even know how you found me, but yeah, I'm like, oh wow, one day I didn't I get a message. Yeah, you constantly gotta network, and you constantly have to take training. Learn the foundation of the craft. You know, learning how to break down the bits. At this term, and given circumstances and making choices, and not everybody's, not all the casting or directors or people in the industry gonna see the same choices, acting choices you make, but it's your creativity, and you always, always have to be working at it and keep pounding until they see your gift and what's unique about you. And it took me a long time to realize the way I am right now is what makes me unique. And I lived with it since childhood. And I always felt like my friends are excluding me because of how I walk, and I'm different from them. And, but eventually I learned that it's what makes me unique. And I can't wait for our industry to see it. And that's our gift. And that uniqueness should be what they see and not as a barriers.
No, absolutely. It's basically people like to label things, and you should just basically, like with me, I was handicapped retarded, but are mentally disturbed, but you should prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
But unfortunately,
perfect example. You're a perfect example of that. People say I am, but you're an example. You came from a foreign country. You didn't speak any word of English. But look at you now. You're an upcoming actress. And like you said, you got to keep pounding and pounding. And you got to knock that wall down. And you got to say, hey, just because you labeled me as this, that doesn't mean that's going to dictate my life.
Right. Exactly. And it's, our basic human rights, just like anybody else. But unfortunately, we get labeled and we get judged and we get, because of that judgment, we get exclusive as a result, and that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And we want to be included, just like everyone else. And why not? And why not? I mean, we're same human. At the end of the day, we feel the same thing you feel, to put everyone in the game, and we all have our own stories, and why not that to be told? Why not include that story? I mean, it's not, all about, she's a star material, so let's hire her. It shouldn't be all like that, and it should be just about stories. And I think sometimes Hollywood loses, that side of the craft, or whatever you want to call it. It's they get lost in the business part of it, and that has a lot to do with being exclusive, I think. It's all about bottom line at the end of the day, and it's a cold world out there, and you just, like I said earlier, just gotta keep pounding until your story is told. Just gotta keep pounding and pounding and work on your craft, learn the basics, breaking down the bits when you get materials, and finding action, objective, and what might obstacles are, and you have to have something to bring in at the same time. So you can't give it up just because someone says, no, you can't be in the game. But also, you also have to do the work.
No, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, were you a study nerd or party animal when you were growing up? And did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or did you ever do any sports?
I'm more of a homebody, so I don't do partying a lot. And at the time, I didn't really speak the language, so I was home a lot, as you can imagine. And as far as sport, I don't have favorite sports because I'm not really into that. But I do love to swim. I learned how to swim earlier on because I lived in an island called Jeju, and I just love swimming, despite my walk, and but that's another example of what I can do despite my length. So yeah, swimming is what I like to do.
What about one of those human pyramids? Do you ever get a chance to do one?
Oh no. I've seen cheerleaders do it, but no.
Would you be up for it, or is not your forte?
No. I don't think so.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
I don't think so.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years have you been an actress?
Well, as far as my role model, it's Audrey Hepburn, because she sees humanness in others, even though well, let's put it this way, she wasn't all about stardom. She cared genuinely about people. And the one that really influenced me of my acting is this guy that when I lived in Sacramento, California at one point, and he was going to Actors Festival, and he invited me to go along with the group. So I did, and they kind of caught me surprised because I thought, well, should I try it? And I'm like, who's gonna hire me? I had really low self-esteem at that point, but like, I'm like, seriously? Is anybody gonna wanna hire me? Look at me, I have a limp and I have this. But that was sabotaging. I was sabotaging myself, self-sabotaging. I'm sorry, it's my diction. I'm still working on my diction. But yeah, I was self-sabotaging, and I realized later on, why not? I'm like everybody else. Granted that I have diction, I have worked with, limp, but why not? I'm not asking to be Julia Roberts. I'm not asking to be, whatever, and I just want to work, right? So I started pounding and pounding and pounding, and finally I got my SAG card. Like, I think it was like 8 months later after I go to that, at the fest. Like, that was back in '99. But then I became so withdrawn because it usually does happen after you get your SAG card, and actors are like, they get so like step away because it's harder being a union to get any projects. So you kind of get fall into that, like staying, keeping the distance from industry. But anyway, I ended up moving to Vegas, and I was like not happy because once I moved to Vegas, I was not doing my craft, at all. I mean, I didn't even realize at that point because I was like so brand new getting union card, and I thought I was so naive thinking, oh yeah, now that I'm union, I'm gonna get an agent and da 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 da. It's gonna all happen for me now. I'm gonna start getting some work. I'm like, okay, I was wrong. So the biggest mistake I made was not getting serious with the craft once I moved to Vegas, and I realized that. So I started studying craft, learning the basics, and now I'm starting to get few roles here and there. So hopefully there's more to come.
Well, my next question is I'm going to ask you, before I ask you a couple other easy questions, then we take a break, is do you speak, like, if you do promo works, like, what other languages do you speak?
Oh, I speak Korean.
Could you give us a perfect example of what it would sound like?
안녕하세요. 오늘 어땠어요? I just said, hi, how are you today? How's your day today?
The reason I act is I'm working on a couple of different promotional videos for different languages to get my message out there. If you're interested, I would love to work with you if that's a possibility.
Sure.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you, which I go back to my book because it helps me. I don't want to ask the same questions over and over. The first one I'm going to ask you is, are you a cat or a dog person?
I'm more of a dog person. Yeah. It's funny because I used to have one. I used to have a little puppy.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I used to have a little Maltese mixed with a poodle. Maltipoo.
For me, I would say I like both, but I'm more of a dog person because you can take dogs with you wherever you go. Cats, they're kind of stationary.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I mean, I don't dislike one of them. I'm just more into dog.
I do have a couple questions for you off the air about wrapping up. My last segment to you is, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being a guest, how do you feel now?
My first reaction is, sure. Why not? Tell our story. Let the story get out there. And like I said, I'm happy to be here. It's my pleasure to be talking to you about it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, wrapping up our show, I do have a couple questions for off the air. Wrapping up our interview, it's a real honor and pleasure to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to building a friendship with you as well.
Me too. Thank you.